Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Grim Dawn, which is an action role-playing game. It was developed and published by Crate Entertainment back in 2016, and it is now officially available on Xbox. So if you're on Xbox and you're a big fan of ARPGs, this is a game that I would almost highly recommend for you. We're going to dive into some of the details as we go. So, let's kind of just get into this. Oh, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe as we jump in. Let's go. Probably the most interesting thing that I've found so far about this game is your class selection. A lot of games these days, you kind of start with a set class of like maybe a sorcerer or a warrior or something like that, right? Well, this game has you kind of blank slated, and at levels 2 and 10, you get to choose the classes that you want. Now, what really is valuable and what I love about this feature is when I'm level 2, I get to pick the first class that I'm interested in, and I went with Shaman because it just seemed like an interesting class to go with. At level 10, I was very surprised because the screen popped up again and I had the opportunity to choose a secondary class, which was really cool, actually. Like, it allows you to say, I want to create a build that can do this, and they made it really easy for you to do so. Now, me at the time, just running through the game, I put absolutely no thought into what I was doing. So, I would say if it's your first time playing, kind of do that. Just run it, see what happens, see if you like what you play. But if you create another character, now that with that knowledge, you should be able to say, hey, I want to build a summoner class, so we're going to go maybe necromancer and shaman, because both of those can, raise pets that will fight for them, which is a really cool thing. Summoner builds are always fun, right? But I have to give it to Grim Dawn in this aspect because it's not many times that I've seen an ARPG that gives you the ability to blank slate your class and then turn around and choose two different classes that you can kind of mesh together to create a really intricate build that works really good for you. The next really cool, fascinating feature of this game is how they did totems in it. So there are these random totems that you'll find out and about in the world, and you have the ability to collect them. Now, what's cool is some of them will spawn beasties to fight, some of them you'll have to sacrifice certain items in order to offer up and get other pieces of gear or loot from, but you'll get your devotion points, and we'll talk about devotion points in a little bit. But it's a really interesting aspect of the game, as these items that they drop and that enemies drop throughout the game are really, really cool. So you can get items that will enhance a piece of gear. Your gear is going to have its base stats already, but you're able to imbue them with these other items to give them bonus stats as well. And if you can see on the screen, not only do I get bonus stats, but it comes with a skill that I can activate on my hotbar as well. So now I'm able to kind of build a build within a build. It sounds weird, it sounds dumb, I don't know, but it works very well. I can choose to make my character's damage turn a particular way based on the item that I have enhanced my helmet with, or my shield with, or my chest piece with. And I have to admit, other than Path of Exile, I hadn't seen anything that way. So it's really cool and interesting that they do it like this. I really like this feature, and I think this adds another level of those of you who absolutely love delving deep into builds and synergies and how you can make your character work the best way. This is a phenomenal idea that allows you to really pick and play in the way that you want to pick and play in this ARPG. Something else that I was also really fascinated with was how the skill tree actually looks. You can't unlock any skills until you've actually put enough points in that class to unlock those skills above it. So it's a weird way to look at things, but honestly, you could go through the bottom and level it all the way across the bottom and never put any points into the actual class itself. Although it's not recommended, it can be done. So it seems like an easy, quick way to burn up your skill points, but you're only having to use them in the trees that you care about the most. So if you know you have to spend 30 points to get to that last tree, then you can spend 30 points to get to that last tree and unlock the skills that you want. Kind of good, kind of bad, but I actually like that I don't have preset skills. I love that you know, my skills are dependent on how I want to play, and I think that Grim Dawn did something really cool with this. And real quick, I actually want to get in on the glorious loot that drops, random loot that drops in abundance. I love games that have crap loot lying around, loot I care nothing about, just crap to look at. I think it's really cool because, I mean, you never know what you're gonna find when there's bunches of loot that drops. Now, I will say this, the game gives you the ability to set a loot filter right there on your hotbar. You can choose what kind of gear you want to see, what quality of gear you want to see, and basically the only gear that would pop up is the gear that would fit your class or has stats that you're looking for your class. So I find that loot filter and the abundance of loot kind of go very good in hand. You may end up filtering the majority of it out, but it's nice to know that much loot comes from defeating one mob of enemies or doing one particular challenge. I absolutely love this. So here, let's give you one more look at the skill tree. Now, what's good about the skill tree is I completely botched my build. I had no idea what I was doing. It was weird. I thought that I was working on something great. Truth is that I was kind of not doing anything that was going to synergize in the end game. But it's okay. This game is very forgiving. You can actually go back to a town and remove points from particular skills so that you don't waste those points. So, you know, in Path of Exile, it's extremely expensive to do the exact same thing. But in this game, you're actually able to say, you know what, I didn't need to put those 4 points in this particular skill, so let's draw that back and I can put these 4 points somewhere else to maybe fine-tune my build a little bit more. So this game gives you the ability, it's free. Of course, you pay for the game, so it's nice that because I paid for the game, I can reset as many times as I want. All I have to do is get enough currency in game to do that, and it's really easy to grind that part. The only thing I would say that this game lacks in, and I completely understand it, I can get with this, I'm on board, I don't really care, but it would be nice, the fact that the game doesn't really tell you where to go. So it's a very tricky system. You see me pulling up the map, nothing is popping up other than the map itself. No hotspots, no objective, no trail to let me know exactly where I need to go. And because of this, I found myself running around aimlessly, not knowing what my goal was, even though I could see my active quest on the side. I had no idea if I was moving the right direction. I had no idea if I was doing the right thing. This was a little frustrating, to be honest, but only frustrating because I did it to myself. In this game, it is very important that when you talk to somebody and you get a mission, that you read their text. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna tell you that it's near this particular place just south of it. So you can go to that particular place and be like, okay, so I need to go south. And by doing that, a star will start to show up on your minimap. I fiddled with this for a long time. I thought that this was bugged. I thought there was a glitch. I thought there was an issue with the game, and that's why nothing was showing on the minimap. But it is the exact opposite. It's intentional. It's made for you to have to actually look around. They're not feeding you the objective every single time. Now, as you get close to it, once you dial in on the area, you'll start seeing it on your minimap. You'll see certain things pop up because you're in a close enough proximity to whatever it is for it to populate. I wasn't a fan at first, but as I play the game more, I understand and I appreciate, and it's just fine. Now, in all honesty, you know, this isn't the only ARPG that has released in the past, 6-7 years. There's many more out there. But I was very, very excited to see that Grim Dawn, a game that I hadn't heard a whole lot about, was getting a port to Xbox. That meant something. If they're willing to port a game from PC to Xbox, there has to be a following and there has to be interest in the game. So I had to give it a try. And so far, guys, I'm probably about 20 hours in, and I'm really loving what I'm getting from the game. Mind you, the game's around $30. It's still worth the $30 to me. I'm always chasing the Diablo or the Torchlight or that Path of Exile feel, but I want it done differently. Based on how Grim Dawn allows you to alter 2 different classes into one class and get items that enhance your current pieces of gear to go with your playstyle, I really think this game brings a lot to the table. I'm highly recommending that if you like ARPGs, that you guys check out Grim Dawn. I hope this video was helpful in helping you decide whether or not this is the right game for you, because I'm in love with it and you're gonna see me playing this quite a bit.